Hey guys, True Salad TV. So, okay, the title of this is King Me for a reason. However, in the back of your mind as you're watching this, I want you to know the actual purpose of this is to show you who I think is the top of the list for who might be revealed as the Antichrist. And when you hear some of the things he says, the way that he blasphemes on Jesus Christ's name, the way that he fools others into a false interpretation of the Bible is just amazing. I know from reading this stuff and from learning about this stuff that this is bound to happen in the end times, like as we enter towards the beginning of the tribulation and everything. But to hear someone actually saying this stuff and seeing people like so sucked into it is just, I don't even have words. It really makes it so real. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, use your discernment, which is why I have this warning here, because I'm telling you some of this stuff is going to be crazy. So brace yourself, all right?
Through all of these documents, which you can find on theking.com, it breaks down the lineage, okay? What it basically boils down to is says that Queen Anne Boleyn avoided her 1536 execution in the Tower of London. She did not die, you people, okay? Queen Anne Boleyn's grandson, Sir Walter Raleigh, was born with the title of Christ and earned the title of Christ in July 1596, 1609, 1610. You heard me right, Christ. Guess who that leads to? Joseph Gregory Hallett was born on Rosh Hashanah, reinvigorating England's royal Holy Grail lineage, Christian mystery lineage, inherited the title of Christ off his great 10 times grandfather, Walter Raleigh, certifying title of Christ, therefore automatically King of England. And confirmed. The Queen and the Pope and the Pope and the Pope certified that the execution was fake, and both bred posthumously, resulting in G. Hallett, the main SYY King of England. We have a new king!
If you're Joseph Gregory, where does the title King John III come from?
Well, we had King John of England, who's my ancestor. He's my great times 22 grandfather.
Okay.
And then we had Prince Marcos Manuel, who's King John II of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and all Ireland. And now we've got myself, which is King John III. Now, to carry the title King John of England or any related aspect, you have to be the Sangreal or the Christ. You have to be the Sangreal or the Christ. Right? Only the Sangreal can hold the title King John of England. And because my co-author was Sangreal, I gave him the Duchy of Saxon-Coburg and Gotha, which is 0.2% of Germany. It's got 13 castles, including the Diet, which is the old Parliament. And he gave me King of England and said, go to England, take your chances. So here I am. Post them to those named, the respondents, which includes the Queen. And so what the beauty of that was, I'd send them to POTUS, their President Donald John Trump, and I'd send them to the Queen. So POTUS would get them, a few days after the Queen, and he'd bring up the Queen or contact the Queen through diplomatic channels. Say, is this true? Is there any bit of it you want to deny? And she's just be tight-lipped. She couldn't deny anything.
I'm going to have to make a decision, and I only hope to God that it's the right decision. But I would say without question, it's the biggest decision I've ever had to make. It's the biggest decision I've ever had to make. It's the biggest decision I've ever had to make.
So she went into hiding, and Trump just took over the British Empire until I move in. Basically what's happening.
Because that's exactly, what Trump and Q and the White Hats and Patriots are doing. It's tearing their association with the treaties that were signed in 1720, which basically enslaved the American nation into slavery under the monarchy, to the point that all the taxes from America were being sent to the City of London and then siphoned to the Vatican. And so it's all just working together.
So what I managed to do with the title Christ was execute the Knights of Malta out of the Vatican, and they're in charge of the world's money supply.
Yeah.
And then Trump took note of that. It's in my document, and that allowed President Donald John Trump to absorb the Fed into the Treasury with him as the Treasury, head of the Treasury.
Yeah.
Right, so I've achieved that, and the Vatican's now no longer in control of money supply, and I am affirmed, confirmed, and certified with the total Christ by the Pope, who's then done it in action and named me on Easter Friday, and then before that he's closed down the whole world for Lent, closed down the whole world for Lent, and that means that I own everything the Vatican does, and he's also abdicated his title, Vicar of Christ. So I'm currently the owner of the world. 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 So I'm currently the owner of the world.
With regard to the Vatican,
Yeah.
that I know from my sources,
Yeah.
the Pope and 350 members of the Vatican staff have been arrested and charged and are currently all under license. The Pope is currently at his holiday residence, not in the Vatican,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's being guarded there. It's no wonder that Donald Trump wants to drain the swamp, is it?
Yeah, it's just
No.
horrible. It's just horrible. But the British Royal Navy come up to me and they say, we are absolutely sick of transporting the Queen's heroin around. That's all we do.
Anyway, it's all over, man.
Have you got
Trump's
your-
winning, and we've got King John III ready to go.
Yeah, well, it's happening. People say, when's it happening? When's it happening? And I'm going, it just happened.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes ago. Like taking the emblem of the palace, taking the emblem of 10 Downing Street, and photo montaging my emblem on there, and people going, is that real? Is that real? Is that real? So they took it off so that I could do that.
I think the next step is we've got to somehow get to Buckingham Palace,
Crest has gone.
so we can prove all this up and
The
get in the right
windows
rooms.
are all boarded up
Yeah.
from the inside.
No one living there. It's just been renovated for me. And you've just had like 2 months off, March, April, May. You just had 2 months off to paint all of the United Kingdom for me.
Yeah.
And let the paint smell go away, so I can just drive through my carriage and wave, drive through my carriage and wave, drive through my carriage and wave, and everything's painted, and the palace is all done up.
Was born with the title of Christ and earned the title of Christ in July 1596, 1609 to 1610. You heard me right. Christ. You heard me right. Christ. Reinvigorating England's royal Holy Grail lineage, Christian mystery lineage. This is what's going to happen. And for the incumbent Queen Elizabeth II to run smoothly, transfer these formerly honorable styles and titles into the care and custody of Joseph Gregory Hallett without further intentional conflict or mass death, currently advertised and admitted on behalf of Queenie II and the British royal family, who have gone into hiding and abandoned their throne and crown since these legal documents were registered, affirmed and confirmed, certified, received by the placeholder Prince William.
And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
In the 6th chapter of the biblical book of Revelation, Jesus Christ opens a prophetic scroll, sealed in 7 places. And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. The first rider carries a bow and wears a crown. The original Greek says a laurel wreath, the ancient symbol of a conquering victor. But what does it all mean? This horseman has often been confused with the returning Christ. Described in chapter 19 of the same book, because he also rides a white horse. The returning Christ is dressed in a robe stained with blood, wearing multiple crowns. The Greek is diadems, not a laurel wreath. He is accompanied by angelic beings on white horses, and his weapon is the sword of his mouth, not a bow. The obvious differences between the 2 images suggest that the first of the 4 horsemen represents a counterfeit or false Messiah. The disciples asked, "What will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" He said, "Take heed that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ. I am the Christ."
Now, to carry the title King John of England or any related aspect, you have to be the Sangreal or the Christ.
Saying, I am the Christ, and will deceive many. Jesus' warning here about not being fooled parallels the first broken seal in the book of Revelation. He clearly identifies the white horse and its rider. People who claim to be the anointed one are false messiahs, men who counterfeit the future role of the true returning Christ. And the counterfeit white horseman will continue to ride until he's vanquished by Christ at his coming.
The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. They shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
If there's one thing that people ask about, it's when is the second coming of Christ? When do we know that it's truly near? Daniel saw how the Antichrist will come onto the scene as this false Messiah, and just as Jesus had a 3.5-year ministry, we saw how the false Messiah will also have a 3.5-year ministry, but his ministry will be evil. When Jesus came onto the scene in 27 AD, there was this 7-year period, and in the middle of it, his body, the temple of God, was crucified. And after that, he rose again. Well, we also saw how in Daniel chapter 9, that the 7-year period from Jesus' day will have a future parallel. And in the future, just as Jesus' body, the temple of God, was destroyed in the middle, the false Messiah will come onto the scene and will try to destroy the temple of God in the middle of the future 7-year period. At the start of the 7-year period, the Antichrist will be a national or political leader. And he will be completely human. He will seem like a normal guy. But at the middle point of the 7-year period, something happens.
Death to the tyrant!
Many believe that he will be assassinated. He will deceive the world with a counterfeit miracle, causing them to believe that he rose from the dead. And then the world will believe that he is divine.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Cosmic fire.
Revelation chapter 1 verse 7. It says, "Look, he is coming with the clouds."
Took off. And then again, well, right through from then, you know. I had a few spooky things leading up to it, so I'd get to position where I could appreciate it. So I've been operating on the spiritual level, actually influencing history since 89, 88. And the CIA took me, esoteric CIA took me to Patmos in 1988 to see if I had either written revelation or revelation was about me, or revelation was about me, or revelation was about me. And then they took me to Ephesus, which is where the Marys went after the, you know, after AD 33. And then it was 25 years later that I found out where revelation was actually written, you know.
The Queen abdicated.
Great.
And the Pope abdicated.
Yeah, the Queen's abdicated, the Pope's abdicated, the royal family stood aside, Prince Charles was using body doubles, Queen Elizabeth II is using body doubles, Prince Philip's not appearing, Prince Andrew's been ousted, Prince Harry voluntarily walked away, and Prince Edward is a convicted pedophile in New Zealand.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of time before you take the throne.
Well, yeah, and I haven't watched it yet, but people are saying that President Donald John Trump was mentioning me last night in the rally. He was saying, Greg, his genes are good, his genes are great.
And a man who's
Greg.
got very good genes. Greg.
Amazing.
Greg.
Wow.
Because
Yes.
I'd mentioned the extra chromosome I've got. I've got the XYY chromosome. So, you know, that extra chromosome is mentioned in the Bible, but yeah, and it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. The XYY chromosome was actually discovered in 1961 when I was born, which is a marker. And and it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible, but and the last line in the Bible says, "I will come quickly."
Surely I
and
come
was getting
quickly.
10 hits a day on my website. Now I'm getting 20,000.
Wow.
You know, and that happened. That happened in just a couple of weeks. You know. And the Pope actually said it. He named me on Easter Friday, 2020, just before he disappeared. Actually, I'll put it in order. On my mother's 85th birthday, 8 and 5 is 13, so that's 12 plus 1, Pope Francis abdicated the title Vicar of Christ, right? And then on the 10th of April, 6 days later, he gave a speech and the empty Vatican and said, Joseph of Arimathea, and then there was a big pause where the camera pans out across the Vatican, there's no words spoken, it's a big shot, empty room, come back, and then it goes, Gregory, St. Gregory the Great, right? And my name's Joseph Gregory. So he was addressing me, and then he says, his documents, not a bone of it can be broken. You know, it's fantastic. I mean, they're really, really chillingly alluding to me, you know. And then on the Sunday, Pope disappears. Yeah.
Hologram.
Yeah.
We saw the hologram. We saw the hologram. We saw the hologram.
Oh yeah, that was the Vatican one. The Pope was spared. But the other interesting thing is that I was born in 15 September 1961, which is actually Jesus' official birthday, which is kind of handy for claims, you know, because
Wow.
now I've got all these leading psychics around the world contacting me and giving me all these readings and information and that, and I'm going, you know, it's just like all of my intuition and fantasies come true, but from other people.
Interesting that
Imagine how it must feel.
all the psychics have come up with the same theory, haven't they?
Yeah.
And that's
I mean,
not
you
just
know,
one or two. There's 12 of them.
natural.
Had a dream? What was the
Yeah,
dream
and
about?
well, I dreamed that I'd be in this large room with a table that sat like 80 people, and then, you know, a well-known general from America would ring up, and then a well-known rock star would ring up and have a chat, and it all happened. You know, it all happened on the same day. Actually, one was in the morning, one was in the evening, and it's like everyone's looking at me as though I should be stunned in that, but it's just normal. You know, it's just like. Kind of like what I expected, and it just happened. And
I mentioned his name, but the general, I'll just call him General W, called Greg while we're all there in the middle of a shoot to say he's been recognised as well by the US military.
And, you know, I'm just entirely okay with it. You know what I mean?
You can tell them who the rock star was.
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Very well known. Very well known. They put it this way: there's no one on the planet that wouldn't recognise his name.
Exactly.
So are you getting positive feedback in England?
I am getting a lot of positive feedback. I think I got one negative from America and one negative which I assume is in England, but it's really low class and it's all non-reality stuff, if you know what I mean.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
On 3 timelines. You know, even the military people say that. We're on 3 timelines. We're trying to converge them. And what's actually converging them is the love bomb. You know, people get behind this one thing that's going to be the catalyst, the quantum to change it all. And that's realize that the British royal family's fake, put the fulfillment of the prophecy on the throne, and start the 1,000 years of peace. 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 So, the psychic's going, oh, you need to go and get this letter, right? So I said, oh, is that in Seville, around Seville? He goes, yeah. I said, is it around Italica? And he goes, yeah. So Dave Mahoney goes there today, and he finds the monastery where the letter could be, right? And he turns around about 800 meters from the monastery. There's this huge billboard sign, and it says, "We love you, Kronos." In English, "We love you, Kronos." In English, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
You know, can I ask you? I'm just curious. Where can you say, or where is the royal family now? I mean, I know Buckingham Palace is empty, right? It's vacated.
Well, the Bible says they will scatter, and that's exactly what's happened. They've all scattered.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Oh, I might be losing you. I'm just getting, let's look at this hot model trick picture now.
Great, that's great.
It's a beautiful
garden.
It's big too.
How beautiful is that? Anybody have a quick
I
question?
appreciate it, man. Hail to the king, man. Thank you.
Yes, we love you. We're sending love bombs to you, King.
Orenga.
Orenga.
This is some weird fucking shit right here. I guess this is Prince Harry and his girl. Her face does not move. Look at that. Are you fucking kidding me? That's not normal. Bro, get out of here. What is that?
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Princes. But he shall be broken without hand. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore, shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
מה שישארנו לאחרונה זאת ניתצו כמה עניינים. מה שלא לראות, וגם משהו שעדיין משאיר ליבו. אז לקחת משהו ומה הגיעתו. אני שמספיק שהגן כבר שואל כמה שעות להגיד עדיין ליבו. אבל יש עוד כמה שעות, עדיין יש מסתכלים כמה דעות.
On July the 9th, 2020, Joseph Gregory Hallett signed the final declaration to take control of the throne of the United Kingdom. Mr. John Smith, head of common law courts in England, and 23 independent witnesses signed this historic document. This now means that the Crown has 21 days to contest all of the points laid out in these legal documents. When I asked Greg if the royal family would contest this claim, he answered simply, "She can't, because I proved that she's on the throne illegitimately."